Hi guys, this is Lisa Marie and I'm with Awaken Naturally, and I have been wanting to put a call out to Gia Prism, Lisa Murray, Kate Sargeant, Linda G from the Comanche Lady, and Jennifer Lisa Vest, and somebody named Parker Rose Permaculture. I've been kind of putting out some information and watching you guys, and have been working in this industry doing a lot of this type of stuff, and had gotten information that had Kamala had won the election. But as 4 o'clock came on, I could feel the energy had shifted. They had showed me these weird things in the sky. When now I knew it was the, Star Boys mechanism and stuff, because tallies and things came in much faster than it should have, and it should have taken almost 3 days because California wasn't even in, and they were already calling him freaking it before even Texas. So as this information starts to get out, we're assuming that the senators know. Now, I've made some phone calls here and where I'm at, and I'm where Lisa Murray lives. And so I have been talking to quite a few people family-wise and stuff, and they just seem to be in a place of they've got too many health cares and problems and stuff to be able to worry about what's kind of going on here, not realizing that him stealing all of our information and us coming at things with lawsuits and stuff, we need to have a whole lot more action here. And I'm letting the guys know, like, hey, do you guys know that there are a group of women out there that are online that have been talking about this stuff as of the day of the situation? And I've been kind of holding back, waiting for Spirit to tell me, hey, you need to get on there and start talking with these other women, because you're part of that group, that you need to be out there, even if, that you don't talk to them, in the beginning of this whole situation. So the whole thing that now is how to protect our energy, how to pull that back. And there are ways of using ultraviolet light, which is a really light blue purple color that you put over the top of your body, anchor into the earth, get very grounded, take deep breaths to get grounded, because this is going to be able to get you into the center of the earth. And when the ultraviolet light, the lavender essential oil will create an ultraviolet light in a bathtub. If you want to go into an Epsom salt soak, get out of it within 15-20 minutes, because you don't want to absorb things. You want to release all of this tension that's happening with the body. Another high frequency oil is rose oil. Rose oil keeps you into the state of Our Lady energies and stuff. Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary herself, those energies are what the rose oil brings into, and that'll help calm us down. We rise together. Lisa went down to a particular meeting and stuff. I wasn't able to drive down to the area and stuff, but I've been doing my own type of work to start kind of getting this energy. But I think a lot of these senators that we assume, even though they've got lawsuits and everything else, they keep fighting at this like there is a United States government thing that these guys are going to listen to. And we need to go in there and start making it understanding that things have changed. And Elon Musk and his fake Doge company, part of this, has already spent $7 million. And everybody's all upset at the fact that he's put a list out for all the people and saying, here are all these things that we've been spending money on. He's already been in within not even 2 weeks, and he's already made $7 million out of the United States. So, here we are, wondering if we're going to have espionage and popular culture are going to be like slowing down this process of what's kind of going on here. If we don't pay attention to what's going on right now, we've watched already back, when we were watching all the World War II stuff. I have a lot of friends that were vets for the people with the Vietnam War and stuff. And the anger and rage that comes with those men and the betrayal is pretty intense. I've been awakened, fully awakened. I had two very big ones. The other one was back in 2009, when I call it the big split. That happened to a lot of families and a lot of relationships because people were not able to continue on that path with a lot of people. And when I had the full awareness of what was going on, I had stopped watching all of the news at that point because I just realized none of it has to do with helping the public and stuff. And now when I found this article with that KGB guy, Yuri, what's his name? Yuri Alexandrov Benzanov, claimed in '84 that Russia had a long-term goal of making the ideology of the U.S., and he had described the process as a big, great brainwashing. And it had 4 stages. One stage was called demonizing, which we would take about 20 years for us to achieve. They went all the way back to 1954 with the Cold War that hardly anybody remembers. And how the internal security and security, what they call secret police and domestic foreign intelligence, that was when they made the KGB. When you go back and you start taking a look at what the KGB has successfully established moles in the U.S., and the agencies and the exact numbers is still not even known now. And as he was an AGK agent, he had defected to Canada in 1970 and claimed that he knew details of what the Soviet have planned. Now, if we've had our situation where we know that he has been on that side of everything, and so how do we, if this has been going on this long and we've got information out there showing this information, what does this mean? If we're going to be looking at ideology and subversion of the this process that is where we're actually seeing it with our own eyes. I've got friends of mine I've known for a very long time that totally turned, and I was sitting here going, okay, they've been watching news. Now the other one I was kind of surprised at, and she asked about, Kamala's background and stuff, and I was just like, so you're half Italian and half something else, so she's not allowed to be a half of something and a half of something else, has all of this stuff. Now I feel that Kamala is one of the few peoples that should be fighting this whole thing, and I think that everybody's been feeling the sense of abandonment and stuff around what the blueberries haven't been doing. The Dreaming Women have been talking about it, but I'm contacting the actual senators too, to say, hey guys, there's a lot of stuff going on here that's been in plan for a really long time. And, and you need to start stepping it up. You need to start getting fire in your belly, very similar to Jasmine Crockett from Texas and a few others that are out there. Bernie's always had that stuff, but they also have a tendency to tear each other up. And that creates a division within us, within our own group and stuff. Not everything's perfect, but it sure in the hell isn't this shitler stuff that we're seeing right now. So at this point, how can we reverse this? This is going all the way back to demoralizing America has been completed. So if it's been completed in the last, few weeks and stuff, and Starlink had been used to tally up our numbers, which is what I had been stating immediately that night. I got on to senators' sites and started telling everybody, hey, do you realize that this Starlink has been the stuff within not even 24 hours, he blew up 1 or 2 of them across America, which they have on film. And then he keeps blowing up other things around the world. So we're assuming that, because we have this understanding and intelligence, that these guys have this in their background. And I'm not sure if they do have it. I'm not even at this point feeling like they're doing something in the background that we're thinking that's something that's creating some sort of a hope within us. I'm not saying that it's not happening, but I'm definitely going to make sure that they know about it. I wish I had Jasmine Crockett's number. Maybe I'll go look for it. But as I'm sitting here wondering, as I've been looking at, do we rise together, stay in a place of positive things, stop watching and the doom scrolling, as a lot of people have been calling it. Excuse me, I get the hiccups. Let me get some water. As some of this information has come through on this was back in 1984 that this guy was talking about all of this stuff. So what happens is that the tragedy of the situation of demoralizing the Americans, that we become polarized tribes, and one people will flat out reject the facts in favor of narratives and opinions. That's what's happening. When you demoralize people, the second stage of ideology brainwashing is destabilization. During the next 2 to 5 years period, Benzoff had made targeting the essential structures of the element of the nation: economy, foreign relations, defense systems. Basically, this subverted Russia would look into destabilizing every one of these areas in the United States, considering weakening it. Third stage would be the crisis. This would be the 6 weeks of the country into crisis. Explained, the crisis would bring a violent change of power, structure, and economy. It'll be followed by the last stage, which will be normalization. And then this country will be basically taken over, living underneath new ideologies and reality. And that's exactly what the hell's happening. And we need to pay attention to what this guy wrote. I think everybody needs to read this information. I don't care what side you're on. A lot of people on our side, I did a lot of reading. I read the 2025 thing. I had read it. I could not continue reading it because it violently made me ill after a while. People, there's a video of him on here warning America back in 1983 and 84, showing us, hey, if we continue to do this, the United States is in a state of war. It's been undeclared type of war, but it has basic principles and foundation to the system. So if we're paying attention to some stuff, this stuff goes way back. This has taken a long time to get there, to get this destabilization, but they were patient. And now we know that, after the whole arms salute and everything else, that there is something much more deeper going on here. And you've got too many people. I was looking at some guy that had been in the concentration camps back in the day. There was 2 books that I had read. One was, the guy said that people with them that thought all of the war would end at Christmas time thought they could hold on till Christmas, and when nobody came to rescue them at Christmas time, and that nobody had come to save them. The majority of the Jews had died that day during the Christmas holiday because they figured somebody would come and rescue them. The ones that held on were the ones that were saying, I have something more to give here after all of this horrific stuff is going on. Now we've got a concentration camp that they're saying that they're going to utilize in El Salvador. We don't need to continue creating a new crisis here. We've got to get this regime out. And if we go back and go into this type of normalization of everything, and then we have this, we were wanting to rise above all of this, and that we're supposed to have the divine feminine coming in, which is why, the Queen of England ran to her country for a very long time. She was a queen. And so it isn't that we can't run countries and be in charge. Now we've got other countries that have brought women in who are being able to create a type of stability that we haven't really seen before. This old regime is falling apart, but they also are trying to get rid of and create normalization about what's going on by just continuing using and doing stuff and acting like he's part of our government when he isn't. So for me, what I've been wanting people to do, if you even see this message, is to start taking care of yourself start taking deep breaths, do a lot of breath work. That's something that I used to teach a lot. I'm going to get back into doing all of that, and start taking appointments again to kind of help destabilize our to normalize us and destabilize what's going on out there, and have a higher frequency of energy and get out of this crisis that we've all been thrown into. And if you guys take a look at that particular article, I found it on Big Think from way back, and how he has an interview and stuff on here. I had been looking at a particular information that had been coming through here on establishing this whole situation. So if this started back in 1950s and he defected in 1970, so this information has been out here for a long time. Problem is that we don't go back and to read some of these things that these guys were talking about. So we're going to rise together. We are the 4am Club. Time to rise together in a positive way. But we also have to start saying, okay, if they're going to be going after everybody with lawsuits and kind of start campaigning and start doing all of that type of stuff, we might end up losing the blueberries altogether. And that's exactly what they're wanting to do. If we don't continue contributing to these, these programs and stuff, which, who wants to do that? Because we are seeing that if Elon has been able to use Starlink, I personally feel that Starlink is being also used to create these fires. I think that he's able to shoot shit out of there that we just don't know about. And because hardly anybody has been talking about it. There's too many weird. I was watching a particular guy that does looking at all the different fires a year or so ago when Canada was on fire in a tremendous way. And then when Australia was on fire, I started seeing this particular guy saying he could see these weird blue ass beams going across maps that he was looking at and stuff. I'm trying to think of his name. If I can think of it, I'll give it to you guys tomorrow. And he started showing after these blue beam would come down, just within a second, there would be a fire within that region where that beam would hit. So maybe there's something else here. I mean, somebody had wrote to me and said there was some Jewish thing. I don't know what the hell they were talking about. And but they believe there could be something like that going on. We have not paid attention to these things because they are so hot. They're so destructive. We just saw the LA thing. We saw Hawaii. When I first spotted this whole damage and stuff, it was up in California. And then I saw another one over in Greece. Now, there have probably been more. We just haven't been notified. And the reasons why I know about Canada so much was because we had that plume of fire and smoke that was completely blacking out our region. And during the last administration with him, all of California was on fire, all of Oregon was on fire, and all of Washington was on fire. But then it stopped. There was nothing beyond it, which would have been the Canada stuff too. That was back, when he was doing stuff. So there might be other things that he's been utilizing that we don't know. I know that he put up a lot of things and put rockets up during all of COVID while we were all locked indoors. He was putting up stuff and satellites and everything else, and putting up maybe his first Starlinks and stuff that are some sort of type of weird weapon that he can beam shit back onto Earth. Where were these blue beams coming from that he had saw on that map? So there's a lot of stuff kind of going on. I kind of threw away a lot of information out on this particular video. I do not know if anybody's going to actually see this video, but I am going to put in information. I'm going to get a hold of Gia and a few other people on the backside because I have been getting a lot of information and downloads and stuff like that to kind of give people an idea of what's kind of going on. Start taking some deep breaths about what's going on. Start doom scrolling and everything. I know that other people are going to be putting up other types of things to help us out through this so that we can start creating what we want. Maybe having chats with Kamala Harris herself and saying, hey, We need you to start stepping up. You've got a fire in your belly just like Crockett does and Jasmine does. And so, you guys have a good night and take a deep breath. And we were going to get together and do this together. And so have a good night, guys. My name is Lisa Marie, and I'm going to be contacting all these women to have a little chit chat with some of the things that I've been seeing. All right, guys, have a good night. Bye.